Hi, welcome back to the channel and thanks for clicking on the video. Today's video, as you already know, is gonna talk about 20 things I have learned in my 20s. I know it's a little too soon for me to make this video since I'm just in my early 20s, but I have jotted down some things that I wanted to share with y'all, and I hope that it somehow helps you navigate your 20s. So the first thing is you need to start taking care of yourself right now. 20s में it happens कि there is a lot of peer pressure around you to go out, have alcohol, have junk food, not work out. And I understand, I get it, I go through it, but I know from the people around me that are older than me that they regret these choices that they make in their 20s to not take care of their body physically as well as mentally, both. So because the things that you do in your 20s to your body has consequences later in life in your 40s and 50s. So taking care of your body and your mental health in 20s is very crucial. Point number 2 is that you need to realize that your dreams are going to require sacrifice. Just like I am a chartered accountant, so clearing CA final exam or just clearing any of the CA exams required a lot of sacrifices, in the sense that you have to give up hanging out with your friends, you have to give up spending quality time with your parents, you have to give up all the social interactions for whatever number of months that you need to study. And it sounds like not such a big deal, but trust me, it really is. But you just need to, in those moments when you feel like when you feel the FOMO, you need to remind yourself about the fact that why have you started this, what is the point of you doing this, what is your end goal. You need to think about your dream that you want to achieve, and trust me that once you achieve it, you will realize that all these sacrifices were necessary, and also that they were very, very, very much worth it. Third thing, and probably the one thing that actually took me a lot of time to understand, is that everything takes time. I am a very impatient person in general. I just like everything to happen all at once. I just want to see the result of everything that I'm doing right now. I don't like the waiting period. But you need to understand that everything has its own time when it needs to happen, and you cannot force things or you cannot rush certain things. So you just need to give yourself time, and it applies to literally everything, right from your friendships, your relationships, to your academics, your career, everything. The fourth point is that you are going to feel lost, and that's such a normal thing. But in your 20s, you feel like, oh shit, am I the only one feeling lost? Am I the only one not knowing what to do with my life, while all of my friends have a clear cut plan of what they want to do in their life? But that's not the case. That's really not the case. Everyone around you, everyone in their 20s is struggling, and it's okay. It's okay if you don't know what you want to do. It's okay if you're still figuring it out. It's okay if you're not able to achieve what you want to do and now you're looking out for plan B. It's just that you need to be reminded of the fact that you're not alone in this journey, which actually brings me to my next point, which is that it's okay to ask for help. A lot of times we feel that we need to do things by ourselves, and if we don't, or if we don't know how to, then we come off as stupid or we come off as dumb. But that's not the case. Actually, this happened with me a lot. I hate asking for help. I feel like asking for help makes me inferior than someone, but that's really not the case. You are not put in this world to navigate through it alone. You are supposed to ask for help when you need it. The sixth point is that your friends are going to change. And by change, I mean that they might change as a person, or your friends in general, that is your social circle, might change. Your old friends might leave you and you might make some new friends. So talking about the first point, which says that your friends might change as a person, it's because everyone is rediscovering themselves in their 20s, and your point of view and your friend's point of view now may not match, and you might feel like you're in conflict with them, and it's okay, it's understandable. But in such cases, you need to sit down with them and you need to have a clear-cut communication with them about the conflict, rather than just pushing them away, or rather than just breaking the friendship in extreme cases, which has actually happened with me. So, but just know that friends becoming different people is just a normal part of life. It's okay. And talking about friends actually leaving you and you making new friends, that's also another part of life where you keep on meeting new people as you grow older. And you should not feel guilty for losing your old friends, because not everyone is meant to be in your life forever. Some people are just meant to come into your life to give you some lessons, to give you some experiences, and then leave, and that's okay. So you just have to make peace with that. This is something that I have also struggled with a lot, because I am a very emotional person. I get attached to people very quickly, and it becomes very difficult for me to actually leave someone or just abandon someone, even if it happens naturally. So it is something that I'm still making peace with. It is something that I'm still coming to terms with, and I want you to understand that it is okay, it is natural, and people that are actually meant to be in your life will somehow end up in your life. You don't have to make too much efforts to have them in your life. The next point is that you need to spend on experiences rather than spending on materialistic items. And by that, I mean that in your 20s, you're bound to get your first job, you're bound to get your first salary, and then you might feel like showing off a little bit. You might, and I'm okay with it. Like you should show off. I mean, why not? But you should also know that just spending on materialistic things is not going to actually bring you happiness later down the line. You need to spend that money on experiences. If you like traveling, go travel. If you like to learn something new, go to a hobby class, learn dancing, learn painting, learn anything. Or if you like meeting new people, there are a lot of apps that help you meet new people in your city. So you should know what you like to do, and you should spend on those things. Hi, sorry, I have to change my background because my phone's battery died and I had to charge it. Anyway, now I was on point 8, I think. So point 8 is that certain things don't work out for a reason. This is something that I am a huge advocate for, and this is something that I have learned not just in my 20s but all throughout my life, that everything happens for a reason. I don't like the saying जो goes by सब कुछ अच्छे के लिए होता है. I don't believe in that. Not everything happens for good, but I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and I do believe that certain things don't work out for a reason. It may be your career related, it may be a friendship related, it may be a relationship ending, it could be anything. Like every heartbreak that you go through in life teaches you something, teaches you important lessons that you need to learn in that moment to conquer the rest of your life. I strongly believe in that. The 9th point is that stop making excuses and just go apologize. A lot of times you hurt people. People hurt you too, but you also need to understand that you can also be the bad person in someone else's story. and you need to stop making excuses for your behavior and just go and apologize, because honestly life is too short to hold grudges or to let someone not know the true intentions of your heart or the true intentions of your actions. So I strongly believe that you need to say sorry whenever you need to. And there is nothing wrong with apologizing. Apologizing doesn't make you a smaller person. Ulta, it actually makes you the bigger person, because you're keeping your ego aside and just trying to save that bond, and you're trying to save that relationship. So please, please, please do not think that saying sorry is comes off as you being weak. It's actually the totally opposite. Point number 10, and something that is extremely close to my heart, because I have struggled with this a lot, and I know every one of you struggles with this. I know it. So don't lie to yourself, don't lie to me. I know you're struggling with this, and it is comparing yourself to other people. Now this happens every time in all phases of life. It is not just confined to your 20s. You compare yourself to everyone, and it happens. It's natural. It's a human tendency to compare ourselves with other people. But I am telling you that you need to make a conscious effort to stop that. My obsession with comparing myself to other people had gone to the point that I unfollowed everyone on Instagram, because I thought to myself that I don't want to know what this XYZ person is doing, because otherwise I will compare my life to their life, which actually sounds very foolish and very stupid, but that was how my mind worked. So I unfollowed everyone, and all of my friends got offended that I unfollowed them, because you only unfollow someone when you're on bad terms with them, apparently, which also, you should normalize just unfollowing people on Instagram or any social media app, basically. Anyway, that was not my point. I digressed. Apologies. See, I apologize. Anyway, like I was saying, that you need to stop comparing yourself to others. In this age of social media, it's very it comes very naturally to us to compare our life to someone else's, but you need to understand that your life and someone else's life are two completely different things. Like, for example, can you compare a chair to a rose? No, right? Because those two things are completely different things. Or to give a better example, I was in a conversation with one of my friends, and they asked me to choose the best series amongst Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I think it was some thriller. I don't remember the name now. But I told them that how could I choose between those two, because those two are of completely different genres, and that is exactly how you should view your life as well. Your life is a completely different thing than someone else's life. So you cannot really compare those two things. They are just incomparable. And if you want to compare yourself with someone, then just make that someone as yourself, as your past self, as your current self. You need to work so hard that you are competing only and only with yourself. You need to try to be 1% better each day than your yesterday's self. Point number 11 is to embrace failure. Failure is something that we all are afraid of. Failure is something that we run away from, but you cannot escape failure. Failure is bound to happen to you in your life at least once. And it is not something that you should be afraid of, because failure teaches you a lot of things. Ulta, failure, you should look forward to failing. If you know, every successful person in this world has failed at some point in their life, because you cannot know success until you know failure. Is that a quote? Did I just make a Tumblr quote? I don't know. Anyway, as I was saying, that failure is something that you need to embrace. It is something that you need to welcome, because it teaches you a lot of things, and it's not something that you should really be running away from. Next point number 12, is also something that I still to this day struggle with a lot. It is to stop caring about what other people think of you. It is so simple when it is just said it out loud, but you and I both know that it's really not that simple to implement it in our life. But I am trying, I'm getting there. But just know that the world doesn't care about you as much as you think it does. It really doesn't. Nobody wakes up in the morning and decides that they want to ruin your life. Nobody has that kind of a time, because every one of us is focusing on only ourselves. People are just selfish like that. And so when you actually accept the fact that nobody really cares about you, you can take it in a good way or a bad way. I will encourage you to take it in a good way, of course, because it feels very liberating when you realize and when you accept that nobody really cares about me, nobody is thinking about me. So you need to do what you want in life. You need to do what you like in life. Like, for example, putting out this video, starting my YouTube channel, was something that I have always wanted to do since I was a 14-year-old. And but I could never actually get the courage, get the guts to actually do it, because I was always scared of what my peers would say about me, what my classmates would say about me. What if they would make fun of me? What if some third person leaves a hate comment or something like that? And of course it still is a thought running behind my head, but but at this point I'm like, you know what, I have always wanted to put out a YouTube video, I have always wanted to start a channel, so why not? Why should I not let myself be happy by caring about what other people might care about me? I mean, that makes no sense when you say it like that, right? So basically, moral of the story is that life is short. Life is short is something that I say a lot because it really resonates with me. So moral of the story is life is short, you only live once. So do whatever heck you want to do. Why do you care about what other people think about you? Everyone is going to have opinions, okay? And everyone is entitled to their opinion. But how do those opinions affect your life personally is what you actually need to think about. They don't. They really don't. So why do you care? Ask yourself that. The next point is that you can't force friendships. You can't force relationships. You can't force connections. You just can't. Friendships, relationships, and everything in between happens when it needs to happen. You cannot force it. It is something that you just have to go with the flow with. And if something's meant for you, if someone is meant for you, it will automatically happen. It will automatically take place at its own time and at its own pace, and you can't rush it, and you don't need to, because if you rush it and if you force it, it might come off as fake, and you definitely don't want that to happen. The next point is that your parents are people too. A lot of our trauma, a lot of shit that we rant about to our therapists is actually based off of our parents' fault. But at this point, when you're in your 20s, you need to actually realize that your parents are human beings first. After that, they are parents, and so they are allowed to make mistakes when it comes to parenting, and it's okay. I understand that their mistakes have affected you in your growing up phase, but in your 20s you need to unlearn those things and learn new things. You cannot keep blaming all of your trauma and all of your issues on your parents' upbringing. Point number 15 is that the most important things in life are not actually things, they are people. So you should actually hang out more with your parents with your siblings, with your friends, with your lover, with people basically, rather than just spending time on your screens. Remember that your parents are growing old too, and the amount of time that you actually have in your 20s is only going to reduce as you grow older, and you may not be able to spend as much time with your parents. So I would highly recommend, I would highly suggest you to spend as much time as you can with them, with your family in general. Spend time with the people you love as much as you can, because life is short. You never know what's gonna happen, and you don't want to have that kind of a regret. So please spend time with your grandparents if you have them. Spend time with your pets. Spend time with people, because it really makes your soul so happy, and it is the kind of dopamine that you will not get just by scrolling through your reels. Point number 16 is that nobody is as judgmental of you as you are of yourself. And you are your biggest critic, and you are your worst enemy. It sounds so unhealthy when you say that. It sounds so brutal, so harsh, but it's the truth. We all know that. We constantly criticize ourselves, we constantly criticize our actions, we constantly criticize the way we look, we constantly criticize the way we talk, and we can be our biggest, our most harsh critic. And I think it's time to change that in your 20s. You need to start loving yourself. You need to be more gentle to yourself. You need to be your own best friend, because the most amount of time that you actually spend with anyone in this world, your entire life, is yourself. You spend most of your time in here, and you need to make this a very pleasant place. And if it's not, then you might end up creating more problems in life than the amount of problems that actually exist. Point number 7. No, wait. Point number 17 is that you might become a completely different person in your 20s. And that's okay, because growing and evolving is something that you actually should look forward to, because nobody wants to become the person who just stays a stagnant personality throughout their life. You need to keep evolving, you need to keep growing yourself in order to achieve greater things in life. I myself can see a lot of change in me, as compared to who I was a year ago, who I was even 6 months ago, because I am constantly changing, and I think that's something that I look forward to. I like the person that I'm becoming, and you should too. Point number 18, and something that everyone, irrespective of what your gender is, everyone needs to follow, is that wear your sunscreen every day. Just do it. I don't have to explain this to you. Just do it, and then you'll see why I'm telling you to do this over the years. Just do it. Point number 19, the second last point of this series, is that don't expect people to be available all the time. This is something that I have struggled with a lot, especially when it came to my birthdays. I wanted all of my friends to be available on my birthday. I wanted all of them to meet me on my birthday. And of course, as we grow older, that is not possible, because everyone has their own share of responsibilities, their own share of obligations in life. So everyone might not be available when you want them to. And it's okay. You just need to understand that everyone is busy doing shit in their life, and as long as they are making time to meet you, making time to hang out with you, making time to even be in touch with you, even if it's through sharing random memes and random reels on Instagram, it's okay, because time is something that we are we have only limited amount of, and so if someone is actually sparing time to be in touch with you, you should be grateful for that, and you should acknowledge that, and just accept the fact that not everyone can be available all the time. The last point of this series is very important, and it is difficult to implement, but it is very crucial to implement as well. It is to make discomfort your best friend. And by that I mean that just get out of your comfort zone, be uncomfortable, try to find scenarios, try to find possible opportunities that make you uncomfortable, because your growth lies out of your comfort zone. Like for me personally, starting this YouTube channel has been out of my comfort zone. It is something that I wanted to do, but I was very uncomfortable doing because of my own reasons that I've already shared with you before. But I am pushing myself to get out there, because I feel like it is something that is very crucial. Pushing yourself out of your boundaries is very important for your personal growth, and you should really focus on that in your 20s. Oops, my camera fell. I'm sorry. I'm still learning. Okay, don't judge me. Anyway, so that was the end of the video. I hope that I shared something that actually helped you, that actually guided you. And if I did, and if you did like the video, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button as well, and please share the video as well. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time.